Good morning, everybody. I'm here in my craft room on a cold, snowy day again. Seem to be the way all my days are going lately. And what I'm going to show you today is one of my scrapbook layout process videos. So this was from a recent scrapbook with me, and this was the sketch that we used during the event. Scrapbook with me's, if you're not familiar, are I do twice weekly events over Zoom from on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 to 5, where I provide a sketch and you can join me over Zoom to see how I put my version of the sketch together. And you don't have to work your sketch. If you have something else you're working on, you're more than welcome to join me for some social time. I'm very happy to have people join me, but you can see my process, kind of what I go through and how I make my choices as I do my layouts. Now, this is the sketch that we have, and I usually post the sketch in a supplies list in the event. And my take on the sketch is this one that I'm going to show you how I'm going to assemble it. This was from the trip I took with my older child, Megan, in December to New York City. So I've got almost everything pre-cut and ready, but I'm going to show you a few assembly steps with some little tips and tricks that I want to share with you. So I added an extra layer onto my base paper, my base cardstock. So with this is the Mossy Meadow cardstock, and I added this extra layer with the Early Espresso. And what I did is I used a white gel pen, and these are my favorites. And I used a ruler just to kind of do some faux stitching around the edges. So let's get assembling this. So I'm gonna, just gonna get my snail runner working. Sometimes it takes a little bit to start. And I'm gonna put this on, just get some adhesive on there. So I'm just gonna, I just wanted to add a little bit extra layer for a little bit more definition. There's that. And then the pattern paper that I've been using throughout this whole New York City trip is from the Season of Green and Gold suite, which I've really loved doing it because we went in December. The whole city was decorated for the Christmas, the holiday. So I thought that this paper would work really well with the various pictures we have from the week. I should say the weekend. So let's just adhere these down. And I'm almost done with the layouts from this particular trip album. Got a few more, to do, and in some of the upcoming scrapbook with me's, but I wanted to show you kind of one of my layout process videos so you can kind of see how I do things. I do things a little bit different. And if you notice, the sketch is for 12 by 12, but I've been working in 8.5 by 11 for the past couple of years to give a change up to my scrapbooking. And it's also been a fun and interesting challenge for me to convert the 12 by 12 sketches to 8.5 by 11. So one of the things though that I do need to do is the small little bracket here. I need to die cut this. So I'm pulling out my stamp cut and emboss machine, and I'm gonna use my very loved plates. And I have this washi tape, which I got from I got online, and I love it. It's been a great washi tape to use because it doesn't stick too hard to the paper, so it makes it easy to come off. But I definitely love working with it. It just keeps the paper from coming off of the plate and the die from moving around. Just get this rolling through. Take this, put that aside. And the nice thing about this washi tape is that you can reuse it several times before you would end up kind of tossing it in the trash, because it stays sticky for a bit, but it's not super duper, high tack sticky. It's a kind of a low tack sticky. So I always have a couple pieces just kind of tacked to the end of my Stampin' Boss machine. Now this particular die comes from the Something Fancy dies. And I love the fact that this was bundled with a stamp set, but I've been able to use these dies for all kinds of tags and different label elements on my layouts. I'm going to put that aside. So I am going to take this, but I'm actually, because I only need a little bit of it, I'm just going to use my snips and cut it down. And I am going to tuck it behind my top layer here. Right about there. So now I am going to start to add my photos. So I've matted my photos with pecan pie cardstock, and because my layout is a little bit small, you know, smaller, I am going to overlap my photos slightly, you know, different than and I am going to lay my photos out and the other elements out different than the sketch. So I'm just going to start with kind of my bottom layer, and I always talk about the issue of kind of dry fitting so that you can kind of check out where you have things before you actually finally adhere them. And put that. These are pictures from a Christmas market that we went to at Bryant Park while we were in New York City. And so it's kind of cool. They had markets kind of all over the city that kind of popped up everywhere. And this was one, yeah, at Bryant Park, and we really had a blast going there. Now, I put these photos directly on the layout, but this photo I'm going to kind of more of my focal photo. So I am going to use dimensionals. Just got to have my quick pick tool just in case, because sometimes with my nails, like, it's hard to get the adhesive off the back, but I'm having good luck today, and I probably am going to jinx myself by saying that. I'm just going to do this. So I like to take one photo from my layout and put dimensionals on it just to give it a little bit of extra to the layout. So there's that. Okay. And I've already... this circle was die cut. I used a lot of die cuts in this. With this is the Stylish Shapes dies. So I die cut this from Very Vanilla. And I used a black pen and ruler to draw my journaling lines. And then I'm raised, because since it's going to be with my focal photo, I want to keep it raised up. So I'm adding some dimensionals on it. And I'm just going to pop this here. And next I have some pieces of scrap cardstock, which I'm just going to dovetail. And I have a wonderful upline who taught me you go up from the center and then you go in from the sides when you dovetail. It just gives you a much cleaner cut. And I really appreciate that little tip from her, because that's definitely helped me out a lot, because oftentimes I would not quite get it where I wanted it. And then just a couple more. So yeah, I always try to share with you guys some tips and tricks, things I've learned from other people and things that I know, because I just find that sharing of the information is, good for everybody who scrapbooks, who card makes, paper crafters. It's definitely very helpful. So I'm going to start tucking these behind here and adhering them down. Put it up a little bit. Mine are a little bit bigger than theirs, but I kind of like the look. And I think I might just only do the 3. So slightly change it up from their layout to just do 3 dovetail banners. So that's that. And then I am going to add my title. Now, I die cut, again, the title. This was with the Alphabet a la mode dies. They were just recently added to the Celebration promotion as one of the options, one of the freebie options. And I'm so excited because I love this die set and I love Alphabet dies. I use them quite a lot. But I also like it because they offer you multiples of certain letters, which when you're die cutting letters, it makes it so much easier to have multiples so that you're not having to go back and recut something. So this is the Alphabet a la mode dies. And I'm using my Xyron X for this. And that what I do, once I put the letters through the Xyron X, I rub over it with my hand, because if you've ever done anything with a Xyron, you know that sometimes it leaves a lot of stickiness around the edges of your piece. But then I go over it with a stylus around the kind of outline, trace the various parts of the pieces with a stylus. So I just find that it helps to get rid of a lot of that kind of extra stickiness that you have. And then let's start to adhere my letters. And praying that I normally would use a ruler, but it's a little tough with to videotape this, so I'm going to pray that I get this as straight as possible. And just a couple more. My market title. And then the last pieces is I'm going to add some embellishments. Now, one thing I love about the season of green and gold is that some of the DSP that's in the paper pack is coordinates with the Golden Greenery dies. Now, the Golden Greenery bundle has the stamp set and a die set. And I love how the fact that if you can die cut out images from the DSP, and this Stampin' Up does this with several packs of DSP, which makes it so much easier on us to, so if we're not, today I wasn't in the mood for stamping, so I just decided I'm going to die cut. So I've got one more piece to die cut. Let me just pull my Stamp Cut Emboss machine back in. And so I've kind of fussy cut around the edges of this pine branch. And again, I'm going to use my trusty washi tape and to adhere the die to my paper. Make sure it's in place. I like this better just because it really helps to keep it from moving around, and also can keep the die exactly where I want it on the paper or the cardstock. So I'm just going to run this through. Oops. There we go. There we go. Let's pull this through. Put that all off to the side. There's my last die cut piece. And I'll put my die back. Oh, I want to just take a minute. So what I do with the Stampin' Up dies is I use the envelope that the die set comes in, but I take the dies off of the cardstock paper back with the tape, and I have these magnet sheets that I've purchased, which I then just put them on it. It just makes it a lot easier instead of having to kind of re-stick to the tape. And most of the envelopes fit. Sometimes this set has two magnet sheets with it, and it just makes it a lot easier to kind of keep track of the dies, and they don't move around so much if I'm traveling with them. So just another little thing. I'll try to share links on my blog post to kind of my favorite things that I get outside of Stampin' Up, but I just wanted to share that little bit with you. So what I'm going to do now is to kind of finish this layout. I'm going to add these die cut pieces, kind of tuck them behind my photos. Just to add a little something, something. And I've tried to kind of, all of the layouts, and I'll do a layout share once I get all of the layouts from this album done. I am going to cut this down a little bit. Sometimes I do this with the dies. I'll kind of cut it down a little bit just so that I can really tuck it down behind something, because I don't really necessarily need the full image. So there's that. And then I am going to add a couple of the gold dots to this to kind of finish off the layout. And there is my finished layout from our New York City trip and going to the German market at Bryant Park. I hope you enjoy this, and I'll have a link to my blog post in the description for this video, and I hope you join me again for more scrapbook process videos. Thanks so much.